Right, welcome to another episode of the Powerful Eyes podcast. Today we've got Diego Day.
I can't lie, the eye game's mad strong right now. I know a lot of guys probably tell you got beautiful eyes, but the colorways and the detail, it's a joke.
Thank you. It's because I'm Arab.
So, where about you?
Welcome, mate. Good to finally meet you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Really want to I want to delve into your life. I want to find out who you are and how you've actually got to where you are now. Obviously, another person entering into the boxing world. Always interesting. So, start us where you grew up.
Yeah, so I grew up just outside of northwest London, a little town called Bournemouth, or very, very close to it anyway. And life was always very competitive for me. I was a sporting kid, very competitive, wanted to win at everything. So, I mean, when we get onto the kind of boxing journey or journey into boxing, it's quite apparent why I want to do it. But yeah, I would say I lived a fairly regular life, as any English male would. And then it all changed for me about 3 years ago when I entered the world of social media. First studied it, understood it, capitalized off it, and now walking around the street and what I think they call a modern day celebrity. I'm not quite sure I would assign that title to myself, but
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you from even talking to Luke, you get a lot of attention.
Yeah, they say influencers are the new athletes. So we have the most where Nike would want Cristiano Ronaldo on a post, and Adidas likewise with Messi and Serena Williams sponsoring this and blah blah blah. Now influencers are them new people.
I think it also helps you're quite recognisable. Your hair. There's always when you've got something that actually stands out. I think it really projects you forward.
Yeah, that was when I knew that I'd been doing really well. When I started wearing a hat and a hood, if I didn't want to be recognised, and I still got recognised, I was like, right, this is when I'm really out there. But yeah, you're right. There's millions and millions of views coming in on my 6-7 different platforms every day. People are literally looking at me in the street like, I was watching you 5 minutes ago. Our athletes we're watching once a week on a big literally got it on his phone, and he's looking at his phone, he's looking up, he's like, I'm watching your video right now. So yeah. How much time are you spending on socials? I don't spend any time on socials. I've
seen filming and
Oh yeah. So the whole process behind our not as much now. I post 2 or 3 times every day consistently. As of now, I'd say on average of a year, we're looking at like 1,000 posts, which is a hell of a lot of content.
Yeah.
And the production that goes into that is essentially the video is filmed. I go out and film it wherever I want, usually in central London or traveling the world. That gets sent to editors. Editors chop it up, send it to my head of social media for approval. And then when he approves it, it gets sent to me. If I approve it, it gets scheduled to be posted. So big operations behind it. People are very surprised. They think that like I edit.
You're sitting in your bedroom.
Yeah. A lot of people think that we're lazy people influencers. Now I'm not speaking for the mass of them. There's business in social media. In fact, social media is a business. And if you're just an influencer in that space, you're not going to have much longevity in the industry. However, if you know how to capitalize off of it and you know how to essentially make money off of it, then that's where your longevity stands.
Let's talk about the theme of your content. How did it come about? You're basically going up and...
Social interactions.
Social interactions with mainly females.
With categorically beautiful women.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's funny because I just go out on days when there are no average looking women about. It's weird. I try and find the ugly ones as well, but they're just not about when I'm out. So it's weird. No, I mean, at the start, the very beginning first decision was a case of I was good at 2 things in life, only ever. Football and talking to girls. Or talking to people in general. And I'd done a lot of football content previously. So
who's your team?
Fan-wise, I'm a Chelsea supporter. But I don't watch football too much these days. Apart from when England play, I'm a what do you call it when someone supports their country a lot?
Fanatic?
Oh, the word's gone. When you're like a national...
patriotic. Yeah,
I'm a patriotic man.
Yeah.
So much that I know
actually finding more of it the other way around. I find more people actually... There's a lot of people who love the Premier League, but they're not getting interested for England. I find it bizarre.
I mean, the Premier League's far more interesting. I think the problem, not delving too much into football, we could probably do a football podcast as well, is with national teams, they generally play very defensive because they have smaller time to prepare, and it's always better basing your football off of a defensive style whereas Spain have proven us wrong this tournament and gone out and played attacking style football. But generally speaking, all the big countries, you've got England, France, Germany, everyone's quite defensive-minded because it's just the safer way to play. So Premier League football's more exciting.
This is obviously going to go out after the final. What's your prediction?
So you'll know what will happen. I just have a horribly good feeling. I don't want to because, one, I think Spain deserve it. And two, I'd rather Southgate not be managing the team because I think that whether we win or not, regardless, it's not the style of football we should be playing. It's not an exciting style of football, and he's not allowing players to correctly represent the country. Regardless, I think we'll win. I think we'll do something England-like and we'll make it happen. I'm trying to go to Munich. I don't know if it's possible. I mean, it's in 2 days, so...
I don't see why not.
Not Munich, Berlin, I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. I've got a few friends who are sort of flying over there or driving over there, I believe.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
it's possible. Yeah,
so easy.
Yeah, it's not that far. So, obviously, school, you're saying you're very competitive.
I was the best at football. I was the best at, all the sports that no one played, like baseball, for example. Like, baseball's not a big sport over here. You just put all your sports. I was the best at baseball. I was in the cricket team. It was like I was the only white guy in the cricket team. It was just me and a bunch of Asians because no one plays cricket, but I was just a person.
Your hands-wise, obviously, extremely good.
So I was just that kind of kid,
yeah.
So I played all sports and I was very good. And I think that gives me an advantage, towards boxing in terms of my athleticism and my ability to move and my ability for my back to function. Ironically.
Where have you actually got into boxing? I mean, how has this come about? What was your sort of first intro to the game?
Boxing I'd loved for a long time. I watched it as a complete observer as opposed to someone who's understanding it. So I just watched it, probably the people that boxers or boxing fanatics hate most, where we're just sitting there like, oh, punch him. Why didn't he punch him here? When you don't understand something, but you're watching it. But a friend of mine knew a very good coach. Do I have to say that because he's in? A very good coach who I got in touch with, and we started out, and it was just very easy, and it made sense. So me and Luke, who'd had experience in the industry before, had been working whilst he was managing a lot of fighters within the Misfits kind of scene. It was just something that made sense. It was something that I was passionate about. I wanted to put my all into it. I have put my all into it when I can and when I have been able to. And a lot of humbling experiences, a lot of lessons, and a good journey so far.
You make some good friends.
Yeah. It's my life's very busy. One thing I'll say about the specific boxing gym that I go to is it is very much like a family. I know some of the people that have known each other for 3-4 weeks that are all training for fights, and they're in there sometimes 4 or 5 hours a day, and they're really close, and we're all supporting each other. I've tried to come to any fights that I could of people going. I'm slightly different because I am running 3-4 different businesses, so I'm kind of in, and then when I have to go out, I have to be out. I can't hang around and just kind of spend my days there. But for the people that are there, and when I am there, morale's great, the team's great, and everyone's working hard to do what they need to do.
There's obviously a massive sort of collab now with the boxing and the celebrity world, which is obviously very lucrative. Like things like what's happened in Saudi with Mike Tyson was meant to be fighting Logan Paul or Jake Paul. Was it Jake Paul? Jake Paul.
Probably both of them at the same
Yeah,
time.
more than likely, but like these things have exploded boxing. Like, do you think without the likes of Misfits, you ever would have got into boxing?
No, and I tell you why. Not specifically boxing, even though I love boxing. I would have definitely trained martial arts. I think it's something that all men should do generally. I don't think it only teaches you how to fight, but also how to protect yourself and also how to control that level of protection, If you're swinging at someone in a street fight and you know how to punch them for a certain level of damage or defense, then it's safer than actually swinging a massive right hook that you don't know how to control. So in general, I think men should know how to fight to protect themselves and the people around them. I probably would have done something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I've just always wanted like a big hench boxer, there's so much confidence. Come and try and punch me. And I just like duck down, grab his balls and make him tap out like
where's this podcast going?
Bitch. Other than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, my back couldn't do that. So I definitely do. I definitely train martial arts and boxing. Listen, it's great. It's, as I said, the whole everything about boxing is very, very healthy.
Yeah, agree. Yeah. I mean, do you think you ever filter into MMA?
Purely because of injury situations, no. I think I'm probably safer in the boxing ring for the case of my back. Grappling is going to be horrendous. For,
You've got a dodgy back.
Yeah. So I've been struggling with injuries for 3-4 years. Training wise, because of football. You know, football creates a massive imbalance in your body in general. It's not a natural movement sport, whereas stuff like other sports are quite functional. Things like basketball, it's very much turning on the spot. But where there's football, there's so much that happens in the game. It's very unconventional.
We always notice this with the sort of middle-aged 40, 45-year-olds who have sort of had a 20-year Sunday league, and they're all walking around crippled.
Yeah.
You know, they're all limping around, knee surgeries, hip surgeries. Like they're in bits. So I make you right there. I think boxing's actually a safer sport. Like I say, you look at the average boxer at 45. Other than Prince Mohammed, they're normally still in pretty good shape, you know?
Yeah, I think it's education as well. There's, again, boxing's just a generally very disciplined sport, and football's quite the opposite. Football's very much talk to who you want, how you want, do what you want. You're the king of the show. You know, you're getting paid this much money, and no one's going to tell you to stretch after or whatever. Boxing is actually more about keeping you safe, ironically, even though you're throwing someone in to get punched. Yeah. You know, it's all around protecting yourself and keeping yourself safe, and that goes with, you know, recovery and taking care of your body in the right way.
Even down to gloves. Gloves were invented to protect the hands, not the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite mad when you look at it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw you into a fight. We're going to give you a pair of gloves and a gum shield.
You look after them knuckles.
And don't hit him too much, because we're going to have a ref in there to stop you. I mean, maybe in the 1800s it was slightly different. I don't know when boxing was invented or the history.
Well, I think there was one fight went on for something like 117 rounds. Was it something stupid like that? Like
that's like me on a Friday night with my girlfriend.
Oh dear!
All the ladies out there don't actually have a girlfriend, don't
What's do you know who you're fighting, or when you're fighting?
So we're lining up very confidently and very seriously for an October fight. There's a TV actor, someone who's very, I'd say, in a different industry to what I am. He's acted in, or most commonly known for acting in Towie, The Only Way is Essex. The Only Way is Down on the Floor. That was cringy as fuck. But yeah, so Arj from Towie, my dad watched Towie growing up, so I was aware of who he was, but I've more recently become aware, and it's a fight that makes sense for both of us, and a fight that I'm really excited to take and keep pushing for.
He's dropped a lot of weight.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar on his story.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He was huge. How big was Arj? 120 kilos? More than that? Yeah, he was a lump, wasn't he? Yeah, he was a big boy.
Yeah.
So if he's what you weighing?
At the moment, I'm anywhere between kind of 18 and 85. But I feel strong at any weight. I feel like fighting heavier, I could still be extremely fit, and fighting lighter, I could still be extremely strong.
Yeah, I mean you've got youth on your side as well. You know, everything's still nimble. How old are you?
I'm young. I'm 22, but the issue isn't the youth; it's my spinal cord. Yeah. Body wise, spirit wise, smile wise, I'm 22. Yeah. Back wise, I'm 95.
How bad is it? I mean, could it go?
I've had a conversation with my coach and made it very, very direct that I will fight there in a wheelchair if needs be.
Yeah,
we've put too much time and effort into this and too much faffing, and he's called me too many names for me to now pull out. So he bullies me a little bit.
You just got to finish it early.
That's also what she said.
Welcome to the club. What happens if you lose? Very interesting.
Yeah, this specific fight, I don't lose. I don't see that as a possibility. I'm also not the type of person. I think a lot of people say, like, I wouldn't take this fight if I didn't think I was going to win. I think a lot of people do, and then they let their ego completely cloud their judgment and blah, blah, blah. I would take a fight that I was like, will I? Maybe I won't. And if I lose to someone who's, you know, had fights and trained harder than me, or sorry, not trained harder than me, but has more experience than me and is a generally better boxer than me, you know, I'll have to see how I deal with that. For me, it's all about the problem and the solution. The problem being, you lose. The solution being, I don't know. I'd probably lock myself in a room for a few months and let no one see me ever again. I'm huge at winning. I'm massively competitive.
Yeah.
And I intend to do only that.
I do think when you step through the ropes, there's only silver or gold. I don't think it's winner and loser. I think it's.
I disagree.
I know you're very competitive, but
I understand. I understand the respect in boxing, and I understand the sport. I think there's just maybe a little bit too much nicety. Now, I've been to these Misfits events specifically, and it's very nice and it's very fluffy, and people are shaking hands like before fights, and people are hugging each other before fights. Good luck tomorrow, bro. When the cameras are off, good luck tomorrow. That's not me. Yeah. If I'm looking at you in your eyes and I know we're going head to head, I'm not going to fight you, to just knock you down. I'm trying to hurt you. I'm physically trying to hurt you. So I'm not trying to pretend that I'm not doing that. So, you have to be kind of, in me, it's locked in. And of course, after it's shaking hands and respect. But there's one person getting put on the ground. There's one person being their glove raised. And you fight for, we're men. We fight for pride. We fight for ego. We fight for rights.
I think there's difference as well now, because obviously you are in the public eye. So there's a little bit, if Joe Bloggs loses and there's 300 people in that hall, there's 50 of them who know who he is, it's yesterday's news.
Yeah.
Whereas yourself and in the industry of Misfits, all of a sudden you've become a meme for 6 months and your life's not over, but, you're being caned on social media.
Especially people like me. I sit behind my camera most days preaching masculinity, preaching how it's important to, try your hardest and do your best. So that's what I'll do. I'll make sure I do the right preparation. I'm a very disciplined person, so there's no chance. At least I'm going into the fight knowing that there's not going to be a chance that I've underprepared or not done everything that I need to do. I'm very disciplined, and the lack of focus won't be an issue. So I'm very confident.
Good, yeah. And I like the idea of no touching gloves. I was always the same. You don't touch gloves before the fight. You go out, even when you go out there and throw a punch. Let him know that he's actually in a fight.
I'm not saying that all the fancy pansy shit where you're pushing each other and dick measuring, as I call it, is going to make a difference or that's the right way to go. It's just not like.
But you're a warrior. Listen, even if it's only for 3 months, you're a warrior.
So people are paying to watch you fight. You have to respect the viewers. This is what you're actually. This is a lot of the reason you're able to do it, whether we like it or not. They're funding. All viewers are always funding the opportunity to what you're doing. So,
I'd like to think Arj will give you a lot of banter as well pre-fight.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I know he's soft. I know he's a soft person. But you don't know in the ring. You don't know who's who. There have been soft world champions before, personality-wise, and there have been harder losers. Yeah. So we don't know. Naturally, I'd be the more aggressive person, the person that would, give it more. But people surprise you. Yeah,
it's an interesting fight. For me, it's an interesting fight that Arj has taken. I don't know too much about Arj's boxing levels, but you're a big guy. You're very physically fit. Obviously, he's got age, maybe experience, but for me, it looks like there's only one winner on paper. If I'm looking at it like this, you're going to come out on top.
No, but there's been a lot of fights that on paper you look massively at one way and have ended. I think, listen, I'll say this much against myself. Being that when you step into something like a boxing ring, one punch, one move, one niggle can change everything. So I don't think there's ever one, I don't think there's ever one person written off. I think there's always a fighting chance for whoever. I'd back myself, going in there against someone insanely good, that there's a fighting chance. Would I probably lose against a professional? Yeah, of course. But do I have a fighting chance? Because anything can happen in there. And also, as I say, you don't know. You don't know people. We're both novice. We're both going in with 0 fights. I've never had a competitive fight before. I've had a few on the street and in school. But other than that, we're both new to this. So I'm excited. I think it's a good experience for both of us.
Yeah.
I think that it's something, we both want to do. So let's push for it to happen. And then what happens after that, we'll see.
I think it's one of the best things a man, I'm not saying a woman, but a man can ever do. In the world of masculinity, just walking through them ropes, it's a different gravy. You'll feel 7'4".
Yeah.
You come out there and you win a fight. You come out and everyone's chanting your name. It's powerful.
You said a man and a woman. Like my coach will hate me for this because he's trained loads of women who are fantastic and dedicated and really hard working. But I don't necessarily think it's as important for a woman to have that level of ego and charisma and desire to fight as a whole. But people can do what they want to do.
Yeah, of course.
But as a man, yeah, you're right to go in there and also the experience, the pressure, the emotion, the even I've been sparring and you feel a different type of pressure, a different type of emotion, different type of breathing patterns. So it's all crazy. I mean, I presume you've had fights. I've been too ignorant to ask, so you know way more than me. But you're right. This is what experience is what builds a man.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, yeah. And it's one of them things you never forget. It's and I think everyone should do it. The one thing before I got involved in boxing, one of my best friends was serious 70 fight. I think he won the ABAs as heavyweight. Like he was a good boy, and he said to me, "Everyone talks about it, no one does it." It's such a minute amount of percentage of people who have actually got the nerve to step through the ropes, and it's so true. Everyone you'll speak to people and they'll go, "Yeah, he'll tell you how many street fights he's had and do this and do that." He won't do it. So I'm very sort of pro anyone just giving it a go, win or lose. Win or lose, because it's the experience to walk through there and know that, especially on a 50-50 fight where you could lose. That's the thing. If you've got an easy fight, it's almost pointless to go in there as a gladiator, knowing that it's kill or be killed. Like it's great. Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm envious of your opportunity.
Yeah, I'm massively excited, and again, as someone who's constantly talking about learning and improving and becoming a better person, it's an opportunity for me to do that. I tell everyone every day, do something that makes you uncomfortable, do something that you wouldn't do before, make yourself a better person somehow. And I'm having the opportunity to do that myself with a huge experience.
Who would be your dream opponent if you get through this one?
I've never thought about it, but I'm also not a fan of fighting people that I necessarily like. I'd like someone that I wasn't a big fan of. I'd like someone to knock off their high horse. I haven't thought about it in terms of a dream fight, but there's people in the scene that I think could definitely take a beating, and the sky's the limit in this industry. You go in, there's 100 million names going around. So for me, it's just about getting the one under my belt and then climbing up the ladder.
Yeah, nice. Who else is Luke? I'm going to ask you. Who's he been sparring with? Been sparring with?
I've moved around with obviously Jesse Clark and a few other amateurs in the gym because I'm more of a fan of instead of sparring complete out of novices, let him know what he's getting himself into.
Yeah.
That guy called Matty, who I think Dave will tell you, it really woke him up and gave an eye opener to what this sport is really about.
Yeah.
And Matty's he's a good boxer, heavy hands, 2 fights, 1-2, and it's more of a learning curve really. Say right, do it now instead of in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, it goes 2 ways of it. It's either right, show me you're going to swallow, walk out again and come back, or you're going to go, do you know what, I could have done better, or I learn, and I'll go again.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like so you learn. You're better off learning them experiences in the gym, 100%. And it's not a tickling competition.
No,
no,
it's real life.
What about outside of boxing? What's a day in the life?
Work. I used to be a massive believer in wake up and have that great morning routine and stay disciplined. I think you should have one thing every day at the same time, whatever it is. Like even if it's wake up at the same time or if it's eat dinner at the same time. I think you should have one thing to keep you in check. But generally, for me, it's wake up, get any exercise I need to under my belt, and get to work straight away. As I say, I'm running 3-4 businesses. They're all kind of in the new stage. So I'm at the stage as a business owner of trying to delegate and having that struggle to delegate and to hire, etc. So
what are the businesses, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so we're dropping merch very soon, which isn't just like, influencer get big and we're going to release some clothing. There's a lot of marketing and thought that's gone behind it. So we're doing that. It's a huge drop that's coming out very, very soon.
What sort of merch?
Clothing. So just clothing. We've got tees, jumpers, etc. And also a retro football tee, which we're doing something huge with, a huge project. We're taking it over to, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say anyway because I don't give a fuck. We're going over to Rio de Janeiro at some point in October, so I need to get a date in so I can do it after. So I
Sounds like you got a busy October.
So I can do it after whatever our October fight date is. And we're taking some retro. We're taking our retro football jersey over there and doing basically a big charity project because street football and general street life in Rio is something I'm passionate about, something I've seen and experienced firsthand, not as a kid, but as someone who's been there.
You've been to Rio before?
Yeah. Been to Rio before. Been traveled around South America. Amazing place.
Really, I've never done South. Like I know everyone talks about Rio as being really dangerous.
People travel in different ways. So first of all, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't for 2 years as of now. And when I've travelled and not drunk alcohol, there's no danger at all. Yes, there's a danger that someone's going to come in behind you and rob your phone. But I'd argue that London's probably more dangerous for that at the moment than somewhere like that is. At least there you're expecting it. London, you feel safe. This false sense of security, which just doesn't exist. So I had no problems out there. I had nothing robbed, nothing taken, no gun points, no altercations. Actually, generally as a society, they're happier. And the good thing about being out there, without sounding too ignorant, because yes, I do have the money to do it, but money can get you out of situations. So, if you're in trouble with the police, which you can because they're quite corrupt, take £20, go and buy your wife dinner and leave me the fuck alone. Yeah. Usually sorts the problem. Same with Southeast Asia, same with Mexico, same with general places.
I found out in Mexico, £30 saved me a lot of time inside.
Yeah, where did you go? Cancun?
I was in Cancun probably 20 odd years ago, yeah.
Were you drinking when the police stopped you?
Yes.
Ironically.
Yeah.
Ironically. And you might have thought it was a situation that was not avoidable, but I'm telling you, if you weren't drunk, you would have avoided it.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what it was.
Oh, God, I wouldn't even say it.
So I lived an hour down there where you were in Cancun. Do you know Playa del Carmen?
Yeah.
So I lived in Playa del Carmen for 3 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
At what age?
From 18 from 18 and a half to 21 and a half.
Oh, wow. So you went, how did that come about?
On and off. So I was over there for about, in total of them 3 years, I was probably there for nearly 2 years. COVID, there was no regulations over there. I went there, loved it. Everything over there was better. That's where I started my social media journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did that come about?
What, the idea of Mexico?
Yeah, just
I met a friend in Dubai through networking, and we got along really well. And we were in Dubai for a bit and having some talks about business. Blah blah. He told me he was going to Mexico. I was there within a week, and we just stayed there. One of my best friends to this day.
Cool.
Yeah.
We done a podcast this morning with a guy who come over at 17 from Italy, just on his own, and obviously still in there. Like I just think, I think of myself at 17, and I don't think I would have done that. Like it's a nice, brave decision.
Throw yourself in the deep end and see if you can swim.
Yeah, literally.
You know, a lot of adults that say like they can't swim, or throw them in a pool and leave them. I reckon they can swim. I reckon they'll find a way.
Yeah.
It's just the same with life. Throw yourself in the deep end and find a way to fucking swim.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. I think like we normally do that as in a situation in business. Even you kind of drop yourself in and you just work it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. I think it's a brave. I suppose loads of people go travelling and
this is
do
when
their
you
thing,
really learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, big
especially
time.
at that age, and the age between 17 and 23, 24 as a man is so crucial, because the choices that you make will influence the rest of your life, and the experience you have will influence the rest of your life. When you're 24, 25, now I haven't experienced this, but I'm sure you naturally will start to probably close off your brain a bit more, and less influence within your life. Become more stubborn, become more locked in with your decisions and with your opinions. So I think that age there is so important. You make the right decisions, because if you then choose to go down the route of university, getting in the party life and spending your days drinking, smoking with the wrong people, that can very easily affect you in 10, 15, 20 years. But I'm not a massive believer at you're young, have fun. I think it's quite the opposite. I think in this day and age, it's so competitive. When you're young, lock the fuck in. You've got the most energy that you're going to have. You have the most drive, determination, the most level of creativity you're going to have as a person. Use it all, push it into something. Retire when you're 30. Not retire when you're 30 because you're going to get bored. Just open up a charity and do something impactful, have impact in the world, do something real.
Be in a situation where you can retire at 30.
Yeah. Or can start, as I said, non-profit organisation. People think like,
financial freedom is the key, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Once you don't have to work, you can kind of have a bit of fun.
Purpose and impact behind that. Because if you have financial freedom, you've worked so hard to get loads of money, and you're there with money and nothing to do with it. Money will very quickly wear out. There's only a certain car you can drive for a certain amount of time. There's only a certain house you can live in that is just brick and water.
Yeah.
So
they say you can only drive one car at a time.
yeah, very correct. So
Yeah.
I think purpose and impact is the biggest driver in a man's level of contentness. If you can have impact and live with a purpose, I think family's huge for that. Any man with a family will automatically tell you like he feels a lot more purpose being a father figure, brother figure, whatever figure in that family, because he has a level of responsibility. I'd love to know this fact, sensitive topic. I speak quite freely on sensitive topics. I don't think they need too much like, oh, sorry to say. I'd like to see the statistics for men committing suicide as fathers and as men without children.
I think it's still really high.
But I'd definitely say single dads without families, without children, would be far, far higher than dads with children.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe that's kids,
I would
being
actually
their
like, do you know
last.
what? I want to find that statistic for the simple reason we talk about mental health and suicide, and especially it's the biggest killer in under 45s in men.
Well, I mean, that's part of the statistic under 45, so that's already
Yeah.
telling us the favour of probably dads without kids being the younger males.
Potentially, yeah. I want to find that out because that's an interesting point that I've never actually really thought about. Because most people, if you talk to someone who has been that low and contemplated suicide, their kids are normally what saves them. So I totally
there's
get
that
what you're
factor.
saying. But yeah, I'd like to see that.
There's that factor, and I think depression and suicide comes at a point of emptiness for a man. Your brain and head has to be very empty at the time, and I think that comes with the lack of purpose.
I feel also though there's an element of when you've got children, like we talk about this all the time. This where we are now, like in 2024, there's like a wave of depression. There's not a lot of money around. There's a lot of people. If you was trying to run a family of four, if you've got your wife and two kids and you've got an average job, I don't know how you do it. I don't know what you do when Christmas comes or when it's your wife's birthday. I think it's a very tough time, and I can see why so many people struggle. It's horrible out there for a lot of people. Probably 80% of people.
For a man, it's not a pretty world. It's not a pretty world.
Agree.
You have to put your makeup on it and make it as pretty as you can. But the reality is an ugly world. We can do something about that. I mean, you can take action on your life and you can make your life or shape your life the way you want it to be. But you're completely correct. To live a successful, societistically approved, successful life as a man, it's extremely hard. As I say, I think if you fill your life with purpose and start to understand certain realities of life, that this keeping up with standards of society isn't what is right. Everyone's different. Everyone has their own definition of right. And I think if you can find that purpose within you, which for a lot of men with kids will be being a father, that's, I think, the biggest purpose, the second biggest purpose on the planet after I'd say being a mother. I think being a mother is the most important and beautiful job anyone can have in the world. After that, being a father is the most purposeful thing you can experience. So imagine I'm a man, 22 years old, I don't have a job, I don't have a career, I don't have a future. I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing in my life? I've got uni bills to pay that, they're chasing me for. I don't know what to do. I have no purpose. As a man who's a father and has all them problems, looks at his kids every night before he goes to bed and goes, wow. Like, I don't know how parents complain. I experience a lot of parents and they're like, oh, I've got to put the kids to bed. I see kids and they are just crying, laughing, whatever they're doing, messing around, misbehaving. It's so fucking cute and innocent and like amazing and animalistic in the best way. It's a massive gift.
I think I've been a dad for, I'm going to show my age now. I've been a dad for sort of 20 odd years.
Oh.
So it's not all sunshines and it's not all sunshine and rainbows as Rocky Balboa would say. But it's incredible. It is amazing. But yeah, it comes with stresses.
Doesn't everything that's beautiful come with
100%.
stress?
Yeah, if it was easy, everyone would do it, as they say.
Yeah.
But when we talk about suicide in men, the single man on his own can only let himself down. And I think we can beat ourselves up and we can deal with letting ourselves down. When you've let your family down, your kids down, your wife down, that's when I think people are really at their lowest, because I think we can deal with it ourselves. If you was on your own and your world crumbled, you could kind of deal with it on your own and build it back up. But But the thought of letting down your kids or your wife or your partner, like that for me is where I feel men are actually at their most vulnerable.
Yeah, there was a time for me where it was my parents. I had the reverse effect. I had the effect of I was feeling, or in a place where, you know, we've all been. So I think that's the most important thing that everyone needs to know, is that everyone's at this position at one point in their life. And that's just if you looked at everyone else in the world and thought, oh, how I'm feeling right now, he's felt like that before. He's felt like that.
100%.
Everyone has. It would actually become much more, okay, so it's going to pass. I'm going to have to, you know, lock a door and cry for 10 minutes a day if you need to, you know, do whatever you need to do. But these guys have all, like, it's a common thing. So then you don't feel so much like, shit, what am I going to do? I'm in this crazy situation. Not crazy. You're just in a phase where you need to sort your fucking life out in the politest way possible. And
social media doesn't help.
No, not at all. But anyway, as I said, my thing was my parents had given me such a great life and such great love that I couldn't let them down with feeling bad. I was like, I have no right to feel bad whatsoever. I need to sort myself out and give myself a reason. But what you say about social media is right. I argue with myself a lot about it because I'm also putting information there. And is it just a cop out if I say they're on their phones anyway, so I might as well get them to watch good stuff or stuff that I think is good and positive? Maybe. As I say, I don't actually use social media that much. I don't scroll through apps. I only have Instagram to post stories. I have social media managers that control the rest of my shit. So the importance of social media is learning and understanding how to take it with a pinch of salt.
100%, yeah. But I think it's the 12, 13, 14-year-olds that are still soaking it all up and taking it all in and thinking that everyone's life's incredible and that these people don't actually work. They just sit around a pool. You know, it's like, it's almost like a sort of slap around the head, like, no, this is not the reality. You know, like, come and see the reality.
Yeah. It's frustrating for sure because social media is literally a platform where people post just the stuff that people want to be seeing.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't need to sit here and go on about there's makeup, there's filters, there's edits, there's more filters, there's 1 out of a million photos that they've chosen specifically that they like with the right angle of them and the right angle of the car which they've rented or bought in a country where they're on holiday. You know, so this 24-year-old man that's wearing a Rolex with a Lamborghini in Dubai really lives in a 1-bedroom in Lewisham driving a Fiat 500.
Yeah,
you know?
and can't get in the pool in his fake watch.
Yeah, so people are living these lives.
Massively, yeah.
I think actually the important thing is to know that even if people are living these lives, even if they own that car and own that watch, and own that, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a better or happier person than you are. I think it's just about chasing things for the right reason. Be aspirational. Want the car, want the watch, want the house, want the big, everything. I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't drive a Lamborghini if I had one. But do it for the right reasons and stay morally intact with yourself through the journey of getting there.
Yeah. Again, I know I mentioned it earlier. I had a really interesting pod with a guy earlier who's sort of life coach, sort of negotiator, and his whole thing was on happiness. And we've spoke to a few people who have picked up on that it's not, no one's saying don't chase the Lambo, don't chase the £3-4 million house, but make sure you've got happiness with it as well. And there's a lot of unhappy, wealthy people. And there's also a lot of people who are unhappy trying to be wealthy.
Yeah. There's two really big mistakes you can make when going for money. One, this isn't necessarily a mistake, but if it happens, you have to manage it very well. If you get a lot of money very quickly, it can change you, it can change your perspective, and you don't necessarily understand the value of money. This is why I love cash so much. I'm such a big advocate for cash. When you actually deal with cash, you understand the value of money. You feel the weight of it. You feel the material. You feel how much there is. You look at it. You put it away. You count it. You deal with it.
When you spend it, you see it go.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? So if you earn money quickly, this getting money quick thing, if you're actually able to do that, you need to understand the repercussions that comes with you don't understand the value of money, and understand the value of money is important. The second thing that people do is see a career path or an option that has potential money in it, and they don't actually sit there and assess, does this align with the person I am? More importantly, does this align with the person I want to be? Who is the person I want to be? How many people in this day and age sit down, look in the mirror and go, who do I want to be? What do I really want to achieve in this world? For me, I've said my biggest insecurity and my biggest downfall is that I crave to be loved. And I love to be loved. But
don't we all?
Yeah, in my way, I'd say it's the same as a lot of people are so obsessive about how they look and they want to look good and they want to be rich. Mine is I just want to be loved. I'm learning to manage that in the healthiest way possible. I don't think I can get rid of it. I've tried and I'm assessing it. I don't think that's something I can leave. I think I always have that crave. How can I make that as healthy as possible within my life that, you know, I want to be loved, but I want to output as much as I want to input or more.
Yeah.
And I want to actually justify the love I'm getting rather than getting love because I can do something online that's a facade.
Where do you think that comes from?
My mum.
From your mum?
Yeah, kindest woman in the world. Kindest woman in the world, and I want to make her proud, and my way of making her proud isn't by being successful or paying off her mortgage. It's simply by knowing that she's taught me to be a very polite young man, and that when I see someone that wants a seat and I'm sitting down, I'll sit down, and if you know I need to hold the door open for someone, I will, and I say please and thank you, and you know that's so much of my happiness and purpose in life.
Giving's incredible.
Yeah, giving's everything.
Yeah.
You have to. People don't understand it because they think it's like they're worried to give their energy because we're so nervous about how our emotional state looks like. We're worried to give because, you know, even if whatever I give you now, words, a handshake or a gift, it's energy. It's part of my energy being given to you. And I'm worried that that energy is not going to be respected. The difference is if I do that in a manner where I don't care what you do with what I'm giving with good intentions, I'm giving because I want to be a good person. How you perceive that is potentially your problem or potentially a universal problem. But I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm going to do it because I love giving, then you can't get your energy affected.
Yeah.
Empathy.
I think the older people get, the more... I think people get let down by other people, and that's when I think they stop giving.
Massively.
But I think it's one of them where you kind of have to stay true to yourself. That's the way I look at it. I'll never not help another man because 10 people in the last however many years have burnt me. Like, I don't want to change. I think it's a nice way to be. They say I like the old school. The old school's great. Chivalry, opening doors, buying dinner. You know, it's
I can't believe the way the world's going. I offer
it's
girls
crazy.
to carry their bags up the stairs, and they look at me like
I think you're going to run off of it or something. Yeah,
no,
it's
I
like,
literally
yeah.
look at them. I'm like, listen, I'm not asking you this because I'm stronger than you because I'm a man. I'm asking you this because I can very easily carry that bag. I see you're struggling. You want me to take it? Man, I just want to take your fucking bag because I'm trying to help you. But I feel like a feminist's going to turn around and be like, no, don't carry my bag. I'm a strong, independent woman that is going to take the lift because I can't actually lift it up.
Yeah.
So
I'm sitting there on a train. I get a train into London now and again, and if there's someone, whether they're incredible looking, whether they're ugly, whether they're old, whether they're young, if they're female and I've got a seat, I'm going to offer them my seat. And people look at you like as if you're crazy.
yeah.
They look at you like you're
Insane.
crazy. It's insane.
I think empathy, like it's my biggest word. It's my trending word at the moment. I always have a trending word on the go, and empathy is my one at the moment. I think if you look at the world in such an empathetic view and understand that everyone's going through so much of their own shit, that when that guy was shouting at you in the shop earlier because you were taking too long, or when that person behind you was beeping because you pulled out in front of them, they're just projecting their anger. And I have a great story. I'll try and keep it super short. A friend of mine was in a bit of a beef with an old man, an old neighbor, and she proclaimed that he was racist, and he left a note on her car saying, like, fix your MOT and don't park like a wanker or whatever it was. Excuse my language, by the way. I'm
It's
very
fine.
free
That's
flowing.
good.
And she wrote one back on his car, something like, don't be a dick and you're racist or whatever, and put it, and then took a picture of it and posted it. And I called her straight away as soon as I saw it. And I said to her, imagine this 80, 90-year-old man has the time, energy to go out of his way, search up your MOT history, write a note on a piece of paper, stick it to your windshield, all that time and energy just to hate. Imagine how lonely and miserable his life must be for him to actually want to do that, let alone physically do it, to want to do it. Every single person who is ever angry at you, you know, why as parents do you take a lot of your anger out on your kids? Because you know they're still going to be there in the morning. You won't just go in the middle of the street and take anger out on a guy because you know there could be repercussions.
Could
but
come
you know
back
kids
on
will
you.
always love you.
Yeah.
And that's why as a kid I'd recommend massively, as any kids who are watching this, just let your parents shout at you. Just be like, I love you, Dad. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we do to the people we love.
Well, that's what they
anger
say.
is-
You take your anger out on the people closest to you.
Yeah, of course you do. When you understand that, you can be more empathetic with your mum, you know. Just let your mum shout at you. And let her complain about whatever she wants to complain about. You know, she loves you. That's why she's doing it. Doesn't work, but it works.
Yeah.
If you understand it.
My missus must really love me because she shouts at me all the time.
True love. True love. You have my approval.
Are you joking, Claire?
He's not joking. He was telling me about it before for 20 minutes.
I'm just covering the bruises. But no, what's next for you? I mean, obviously you got the boxing, but and I know you're saying you're busy with the businesses, but are you serial entrepreneur? Do you want more and more?
Yeah, for me, it's turning what I have now into an empire that can really have an impact on a scale. Again, maybe it's a cop-out for wanting to make more money and wanting to be more successful, but for now, it's like all of my money is going back into the business to build something so that I can have an impact on the biggest scale possible. For me, I really want to have an effect on the generation of men. I think we're very lost. I think we need more guidance than women in this day and age. I'm not someone that's like, I just want to do it for men because I'm a man. It's the case of I think men need it more than anyone right now, and that's the honest truth. I want to be impactful positively for that. And also, yeah, boxing is a great way for me to showcase that as well. Boxing shows everything. There's so many emotions and life lessons to be learned in boxing, so that's a great...
It's good for your mental health. You know, I think men should get into some form of combat just for their own head.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. There's nothing better than going to smash a bag up and, you know, all of a sudden your stresses have gone, even if it's only for half a day.
Listen, if that saves you from abusing women around you or becoming a serial, man beater or taking a crossbow out into bushy and killing 4 people, if that saves you from doing that, then go and hit a boxing bag. So for me, just really excited to get into the ring, prove, something else, add another thing to my roster, if you like, and test myself again.
Do you think you see yourself as a kind of Andrew Tate character?
I get compared to Andrew Tate a lot. I don't think he gets compared to me a lot. I think he's a bit
his hair's too
that.
short.
Yeah, so I do get compared a lot. I think with the messages we're saying, listen, I've answered this question a million times. Am I the same as him? No. Do I think he's probably dodgy in some essence? Yes. Do I think he antagonizes people on purpose to give him a bit more enthusiasm to do what he does? Yes. Do I think I should do the same thing? No. Do I want to be completely positive and fair and honest in all of my explanations and reasoning? Yes. Do I think men need to take action on their life and start doing more and stop being such pussies? Yes, 100%. So...
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a horrible world we live in now. You know, like what is actually happening to men, almost in inverted commas.
Yeah,
they have become so weak. You know, men. The average man is weak. Like I do find myself going around. The last week, I've been an angry person, and I don't even know why. I've been probably a bit overworked, a bit stressed, but I find myself being really let down by the average human being. You know, you see something. Like people are more worried about a bad word than the safety of their children.
Yep.
You know, it's like, when you sit there, it's one of them things where you think, maybe it's me.
Listen, only the crazy people with crazy concepts have freedom of speech, right? If freedom of speech is as it is and someone says that they can be whoever they want to be and wake up one morning as one person and wake up tomorrow as another person and make that decision themselves as probably an 8-year-old now, they're allowed to do that. But as soon as people like myself, I won't put you in that category as well, maybe you are, want to sit there and go, wait a minute, that's not right. Not even that's wrong, that's not right. We should look at that. We could be arrested. I could be arrested for, insulting someone that has completely made up a gender and assigned themselves to that gender. Can they be arrested for, portraying a gender that doesn't exist? No. It's barbaricism. It's what happens when you let, clowns run around and people get bored. I think it's all down to ADHD. People literally get bored. They'll wake up in the morning, I don't know what they're going to do with this LGBTQ plus flag in a minute. It's got too many colors on it. It's just going to be a checkered flag with every color of the rainbow. So, there needs to be some logic in this world, or World War III is on its way. It'll be this would be a great time to talk about with pink handbags.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. If we did go to war, we're in trouble.
Oh, we're France. We're the first ones out.
Yeah, literally.
We're the first ones out. I'm going straight to Dubai. Yeah, or Colombia. I got ties with the cartel there. I'll stand behind Pablo Escobar's nephew and just shoot rifles at someone just for banter. I'll go to South Oxy boxing gym and just sit in the heart. Smash my head on the bag until it takes me out before the Germans do.
But he's scary. He's scary. You know, like what? Obviously, listen. I've got 20 odd years on you, and I've seen the world change. I've seen London. Listen, London's horrible compared to what it was 15, 20 years ago. And it wasn't that great 20 years ago. But like, you sort of see what it's becoming now. And it's grey and miserable, and everyone looks like they want to hurt you. You know, it's one of them things. Like, it's a strange place. I think, but the country in general it seems like a wave of depression. You know, most people have got really low energy. It's
definitely a country in decline. My outlook is simply be the light in the dark. Be the good energy that no one else has, and don't use that as an excuse to be a black sheep. Why not push yourself in this, dark country and continue to be a light?
Do you ever feel your energy levels dropping?
No.
Not yet.
I'm so there.
Yeah.
So 100% all the time. I also drink a lot of coffee. So, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and the first thing I did here was ask for a coffee. No, I'm so full of love.
I've never had a coffee.
In your life?
Never.
Yeah, definitely the healthier decision, probably the better decision. I'm just so full of love and life, and I understand why people are angry. I get it.
Yeah,
it's as we discussed, half an hour ago. It's a very dark life for a lot of people, and I understand that, and I see it. And people look at me just smiling sometimes. I think, is this guy like? I'm the weird guy for smiling, by the way. I'm
in London, yeah, you're lucky you've not been stabbed for smiling at people.
Yeah, so I'll just continue to be the light in the dark. But if you are really struggling in a place like London, there are beautiful places you can live in the world. It's not hard to travel. Definitely embrace traveling a lot more. Embrace living in an environment that suits you. We've been lucky enough to understand the Middle East, which is a place that has some form of normality in the world. And the world's a big place.
Do you enjoy Dubai?
I enjoy Dubai for 50% of things, and I resent Dubai for 50% of things. Very much the fake lifestyle, the fake energy that is there. Not great. The morals, the integrity of the place, and the safety, and also the networking opportunities is great.
Yeah. So, I'm the same. I don't like the unnatural beauty.
Yeah.
A fake beach.
Yeah.
Shoddy building that's clad in shiny stone. Everything feels quite unnatural.
Also, general a fake life. I mean, the first time I went to Dubai, I was, I think, 18 or 19, and I walked around in what I'd consider to be in London, like decent clothing, and I was getting looked at like I had no right to be in that country just because I wasn't dressing, exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I don't like a place that judges you by what you wear or what they might think about you. But, that comes with living in high standards. So we have no leg to stand on to insult somewhere like Dubai. And the Middle East have done exceptionally well, I think.
Yeah, big time.
I think they're a huge world, like good force for the world. I'd love to see the world as in 10 years and how, let's be honest, at the extent of money that somewhere like Saudi has, you can buy everything. They a trillion city, they're buying.
We've only got to look at what they're doing out there.
Correct. So in 10 years, it's going to be interesting to see how huge it is over there. Yeah,
we've actually got some opportunities over there. I was actually meant to be there now. I was meant to be in Saudi.
But you chose to be with me instead.
That's what I said. Listen, if we get Diego Day down, then I'll cancel everything. That's how I roll.
Melt my heart. A couple of girls said that for me as well tonight. So can we wrap it up? Because I've got to go wrap up something else.
No, look, listen. I genuinely think we should wrap this one up now on the back of that. But
that's what she said.
But no, it has been a pleasure. An interesting one.
Yeah,
I enjoyed your views.
Thank you very much. It's been
and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
100%.
Diego Day.
See me soon.
Top man.